Whenever you go through hard times, whether there's ups and downs, as everybody does, ups and downs in life, I feel like you've always repeated this one thing to me and it's always stayed with me. It's just purification and part of the journey. No matter what it is in your life, professionally, personally, everything, it's just purification. It's just part of the journey. And it's something that I have really turned to whenever I felt like I've gone through hard times, because I think it's so easy to get into this like, why me mentality. And like, I don't think I've ever heard you say, why me? Why has this happened to me? Oh, whether it's a small thing of like, oh, why did this person park in front of me or block me, to why did this horrible thing happen in my life that wasn't meant to? Like, there's never been a point in time where I've heard you say, why me, the whole time I've known you. I guess my question is, how do we get out of this idea of like this victim mentality of feeling like when bad things happen, the first thing you think is, why me? Like, why did this happen to me? This is horrible. How did you work through that? And like, you know, have you had those thoughts? How do you then get to the point where you're just like, no, it's just purification. This is just what I have to go through.
Life is a school, a hospital, and a mountain. Life is a school because it's a place to learn. Life is a hospital because it's a place to heal. And life is a mountain because it's a place to grow. Life is not a cinema.
Roses and daisies on a field.
It isn't.
Filled with daffodils.
So if you look at the purpose of life, and if the purpose of life is to learn, grow, and heal, then you have to look at everything that comes your way as either helping you learn, either helping you heal, or either helping you grow. And sometimes some things make you do all three at the same time. And so for me, when I say life is about purification, it's me accepting and admitting to myself that there is something I can learn from this. There is something I have to heal from this. And there is some way in which I have to grow from this. This could have been sent to me to break my ego. This could have been sent to me to heal my heart. This could have been sent to me to push me towards my higher self.
Right.
And I feel like I've lived through enough different ups and downs now where I can identify all of those. The worst things that have ever happened to me have been some of the best things that have ever happened to me. And that is the hardest thing to say.
In the moment.
And I didn't feel it in the moment, but I had to recognize it in the moment. And I would honestly say that there are people on the planet who've been through way harder things than I have, and they feel that way. So don't trust me because of my experience. I trust those people who've been through the most atrocious, horrific events on planet Earth, and they're saying that. So don't take my word for it, take their word for it. And so what I'm trying to say is that our pain, most of our pain in what we're going through is actually caused from our resistance to it.
Right.
So when we don't want it to be the case.
It's almost like the struggle that you have to close the door versus just letting it open and allowing the water to come through. You could be swimming into it versus the resistance it takes to keep that door closed against the water coming in.
Yeah, I mean, you should try keep that door closed in that circumstance for sure.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to flow with it.
Yeah, it's like saying, I wish it was easier.
Yeah.
That is what causes the pain.
Rather than trying to think, how can I get stronger in this situation to handle what is coming at me?
And by the way, I think all the time I wish this was easier.
Do you?
So no, what I'm saying is like, I'm not perfect in this. Like as in, this is something that I feel like you're constantly learning this. This isn't something that I've mastered and I've perfected. It's like every time there's a new challenge, the first thing I'm like, why me?
Really?
Like, why does this happen to me? Like, why am I going through this? Like,
and then what are the practical things?
What did I do? Like, you know.
Let's say you are going through a hard time in your life.
Yeah.
What are the practical things that you do on a daily basis that you're like, okay, I'm in a funk, stuff's gone wrong, life is a bit unfair right now. But then you wake up, you feel that way.
Yeah, I've got a few things.
What are you going to do?
The first thing is I remind myself of the famous quote, there's no strong person with an easy past.
Oh, that's a good one.
Every single person I admire has been through hardship, difficulty, and challenges.
Yep.
The second thing I remind myself is of the Stoic phrase, the obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the path.
Right.
This is the way. There is no other way.
Yeah.
There is no shortcut. This is the path.
The pain is part of the path.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the third thing I do is I find that being alone by myself, for me, making sense of everything is more important than outsourcing that work to 20 people on a text thread.
Yes.
So I don't enjoy outsourcing mental processing to other people because I believe it's something that I can build that muscle myself. And once I feel confident and confirmed in where I'm at, I'll share that with others. Or if I'm feeling really weak, I'll turn to someone who I believe can help me. I won't ever turn to just 20 people that I love and care about because they may just say things that sound helpful, but they don't change how I feel about myself.
It also magnifies it so much.
Yeah.
I did that recently. I had like a thing with someone that I wasn't so fond of and like had a disagreement or just was feeling a certain way about them. And for the first time, I usually process things and I don't talk about it. But I decided randomly, it came up in conversation with you and I had a chat about it with you. And then someone else brought that person up and then I had a chat about that person with them. And suddenly something that I would have forgotten about within a day became something that I was talking about every single day. And then
Such a good point.
my pain towards them became larger. My annoyance towards them became larger. My thought became larger about them. And so whether it's about, that's just a person, but it's literally the same thing that you're talking about right now. Like when something bad is happening in your life, the more you give energy to it, the more you talk to people about it, the more that you're fixated on it, the larger it may be large, but the larger it will feel in you. It's like fear. And I feel like a lot of our pain is also linked to fear. And so the larger that you make it and the more you think about it, talk about it, act on it, the bigger it becomes and the harder it becomes to then overcome that hurdle. And that hurdle becomes something enormous where you feel like you can't even.
Yeah. The practical question or practical step is asking myself, what is the root of this problem?
Right.
Like, what's the root of it? Because we're all so distracted by the branches. This is what in my book, Think Like a Monk, I talk about the difference between the monk mind and the monkey mind.
Right.
The monkey is jumping from branch to branch, jumping from leaf to leaf, grabbing the fruit.
So cute.
The monk mind is focused on the roots. And so, yes, the monkey's cute, but it's distracted.
Monkey.
But it's distracted. And so how can I focus on the root? Let me solve for the root. And I think a lot of us get distracted by what's the latest, what's the trendiest, what's the new thing, all of that stuff. And it just distracts us away. So my practical step is, what is the root of what I'm trying to solve? What will actually get me to where I want to get to? Like what will actually get to the heart of the issue, to the root of the issue, and to the depths of the issue? Because if I don't focus on that, now I'm just distracted.